Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and thank you so much for joining me in today's episode where we are going to talk about our environments and how maybe wherever we're from, it might be a little small. It might be a little closed-minded for our big, giant ideas that we have and that we're pursuing and that we are chasing after, because sometimes we don't always have all the support that we need, or it might be something totally new that nobody is used to yet. Nobody likes change. Like if they are stuck in their ways, they don't want to chase after change. They don't want to see you changing, because then they're not pursuing their greatest self, right? And then they feel bad, and they don't want to feel bad, so they're going to make you feel bad. And when they make you feel bad, then you are inclined to stop chasing after your dream. And then they won. They're like, nobody gets to grow. If I can't get over my issues, you can't get over your issues. Complete bullshit, if you ask me. But today's episode, we are going to talk about how you don't have to be from there, how to survive your own captive environment, why where you start is so special, and how to inspire others right where you are. So, where you're from, why it's okay not to be from there. Have you guys heard of the Lemon 8 app? They really ate with that app. I personally downloaded it this last week. I am in love, okay? Personally, when Instagram switched from photos to videos, if you're a long-time listener, you know I struggled with that. It was probably, there's other things going on, but that was a huge reason on why I stopped posting so much on Instagram. Of course, I was overwhelmed with posting every single day, but it was transitioning to Reels. TikTok has been around for 3 years. That's a long time. I personally hate Instagram doing Reels. They only wanted to promote Reels. It wasn't fun. I love taking photos. I absolutely love taking photos. And the app it wasn't about taking photos anymore. Lemon 8 is photo-based. You can post videos. It is like the love child of Pinterest, Instagram, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of TikTok. But really, it's a Pinterest, Instagram love child. And it is so much fun. I've only been on it for a week. If you are interested, if you haven't heard of it yet, go download it. They say it's going to be the new social media app. You can find me at Logan Lee Miller. I have a few posts up. It's kind of fun. It made me feel so excited to post on social media again. It has tools. It's kind of like Canva too. So three things: Pinterest, Instagram, Canva. If you haven't used Canva, it is what I use all of the designs for the podcast. So, and YouTube, like all the YouTube thumbnails and any sort of graphic that I make on Instagram, it's from the platform Canva. I love Canva. It is a lifesaver. But in the app, it has templates. It has text that you can apply to your photos. It is so awesome for a creative like myself, because I love doing those things. I love to edit. That's why I like making the graphics for my podcast. It's fun. It's a creative outlet. It is for me to totally express myself, and it's kind of scrapbooky. It is a very scrapbook vibe on the Lemon 8 app. I am excited to see how it grows, to see if we get more templates, fonts, maybe we can color on the screen in a future update. It's honestly so much fun. If you have not heard of it now, go download it. It's so cool, and give me a follow. I have posted original content on there. I think the trap that people fall into is they try to reuse TikTok Reels or TikTok videos on Reels and then YouTube Shorts. And I don't think that's how you should be utilizing the platforms. I think each platform should have its own unique something that you post on there. Or why should anybody follow you on Instagram if you post it on TikTok? You know what I'm saying? So it is content that you have never seen before. It's brand new. I made it for the app. But because it's so new, everyone is posting bios. So it's like, get to know me, or hi, I'm Logan. I am from Missouri. Actually, let me read you my bio. Where is my phone? Hold on. I'm gonna read my bio to you, so you know exactly what you're getting into, because it's so fun. It's literally so fun. So my bio, it's loading up. So I have this cute little photo of myself in the kitchen. I'm wearing a white headband with pearls on it. It's stunning. And my favorite new white t-shirt that I got from MKT, and a pair of jeans from Old Navy. Doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I'm just trying to describe the photo to you. So it says, nice to meet you. It has Logan Lee Miller in yellow because it was the most vibrant. And then I have like 3 little tabs, not tabs, dots, subject lines maybe, where it has podcasting, wellness, and self-improvement, because I feel like that's what I'm all about. Like, that's a summary of me. So my little caption says, hi, or hey, hi, hello. That's like, you have a title. So it's kind of like when you have an Instagram reel, you can put it, or a live, or a long form video, you can put like a title on it and then it's bio underneath. So it says, hey, hi, hello. I'm Logan. I'll be 25 in May. Hello, Taurus baby. And live in Missouri. I have a podcast, Golden Hour Drip, that I started 3 years ago in college. You can expect self-improvement, wellness, and inspiration to be your true self. Glad to meet you. And that's mine, okay? So I took inspiration from other people that were posting on the app first. They were posting their name, their age, where they were from. And as I was scrolling through it, because right now it is a very aesthetic app. Everyone is posting like the cutest photos, and they are posting where they're from. I see Colorado and Texas and Montana and all these like super, super cool states. And I'm looking at their photos and I am thinking, everyone is from somewhere cool but me. Like, I'm from Missouri. Like, oh, like, And I was like, whoa, let's pause it. Let's take a little pause, because I was like, the rest of the social media apps is a compare and despair. And this is a brand new app, and I'm already going to allow myself to feel like I'm not enough. Oh my gosh, like, no. So before I posted, I was like trying to see what everyone had been posting about. And I was like, everyone is beautiful. Everyone has an aesthetic house. Everyone is got a cool, fun bio. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like, why am I comparing myself when I can become inspired by these individuals, and I can embrace where I am at? Because they could be thinking, oh my gosh, like, I live in Florida, and I've lived in Florida my entire life. It's hot, it's buggy, there's alligators, the sun is always out, we never get snow, and they could be wishing that they got snow, or all 4 seasons, or a fall and got to wear fall clothes and tights and boots and things that I get to wear. Like today, this morning was like a crisp morning. I wore a cute little bell-bottom outfit with a sweater on top and chunky boots. I felt so cute. I could never wear that in Florida because I would be sweating my butt off. You have to embrace where you are at because it is where you're from. That's your start. You can't change it. You can change your environment, but you can't change where you start because that's part of your story. And it's okay to be exactly from where you're from. That it's part of you. It doesn't always have to stay your environment. It doesn't always have to stay your home. You don't have to be stuck there forever. You don't have to live in the same small town and see all the same people every single day. You're allowed to grow and you're allowed to change, but you don't have to be from there. You don't have to be like other people, and you don't have to wish that your situation was different. You don't have to compare yourself to others because, again, the Lemon 8 app is a highlight reel. We're posting all of our best photos that we have been saving since Instagram won't post any of them, right? Like you've been hanging on to these and you want to post them and you want to share them. And now here is finally an app where you can showcase them. I'm going hog wild too. Like I love it. Like I'm so excited myself that we have this platform now. So I posted some good photos. You better believe that I spent 2 hours making 4 posts. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it was so much fun. It didn't even feel like 2 hours. It felt so short. But you don't have to compare on what someone else is doing. You don't have to have this perfect start. You can start exactly where you are at right now in this moment. Personally, I sometimes have this narrative that I tell myself that I am not successful because I am from small town Missouri. Because I am not in the hub where all the influencers are. I am not in the hub where the creators are networking and having crossovers and collabs. Like, I allow that sometimes to hold me back and to give me a false narrative of, oh, you can't be successful because you're not from there. You don't live in that town. You don't live in that city. I visited Chicago this last winter. Chicago is beautiful. They say it's a mini New York. I have this fairy tale that sometimes I live in New York, or I live in Austin, Texas, or, you know, all these popular spots where I see my favorite creators where they're at. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, if only I was like Brooke Miccio and I lived in New York, or if only I was Sam Taylor and I lived in Texas. You know, like I compare myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with being exactly from where you're at? Both of those girls moved to those locations. They're not from there. They picked up their life and they made that hard choice to move away from family and move away from loved ones and to start completely over. And this time in my life, I'm not bold enough to make that choice. So if I am not willing to have the action that those girls did, then why am I comparing myself to them if I know that I will never get to do that, right? Like, and I can make that choice at any time, and maybe one day, God willing, if something comes up and happens where I have to move, then we'll take that when it comes. But in this time, in this period of my life, that's just not where I'm at. That's just not how it is. So it's okay that I'm not from there and that you're not from wherever you're looking and comparing yourself to other individuals. LA used to be a huge spot. Everyone wanted to go to Los Angeles. Everyone wanted to move to California. And now that's even shifted. So what's popular right in this moment might not be what's right for you. It can seem like everyone is from a big city. Everyone is from this happening place. But it's okay to be from where you're at too. Colorado used to not be like this amazing spot, but after they legalized marijuana, it became a happening spot. It's like everyone wanted to move there. So this popularity for a certain location could be fleeting. You have to, if you are going to make a change in your environment, have to make sure that it's right for you and that there's an actual reason that you are wanting to move here, and not because you are idolizing someone else's life or what you see on social media, because that is a filtered view of what they do and how they live. That same person that is living in New York City in this small little apartment could be thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I lived out in the countryside where I had a big house that didn't cost over $500,000, that I could go outside and have a yard and my dogs could run all around and I wouldn't have to worry about putting them on a leash, and I would be able to do yoga in the grass and have a garden. Like, they could be wishing for my life and what I have. And it doesn't matter where you're at. It's all about your perspective and how you choose to think about where you're from and how to think about, okay, this environment, it might not be the environment that I want to be at forever. It might not be your end all be all, but in this moment, I am going to make the best of it. You can survive your environment no matter where you are at. You can make it work for you. Even if you live in an itty bitty town where people are small-minded, who have their own opinion of who you should be. I know for me, I moved around a lot as a kid. My stepdad was in the military and it took us from Missouri and we moved to Georgia. And in Georgia, we moved to 2 different locations on base. And after Georgia, we moved to Northeast Iowa. And in Northeast Iowa, we moved twice. And I did not grow up in the same town from kindergarten to senior year. And I think, honestly, I was really, really lucky to have the different environments growing up. I think that was great for me to bounce around, because ultimately when I came back to our hometown in Missouri, when I came back to live with my dad and go to college at the neighboring university, I wasn't surrounded with people who knew my entire life story. They didn't know the mistakes that I made in middle school or high school, or how was I acting, or who I was, right? I was very involved in high school. I was in FFA, I was in FCLA, I was not in choir, I was on student council, I was a cheerleader, like all of these things. But those labels are boxes, and we can be put into a box. And some people, once we're in a box and we're tied up with a little bow, they never want to let us out. They never want us to change or morph into the person that we want to be. They don't allow for that personal growth. They don't allow for any sort of change. And that can be really debilitating. It can feel super confined. It can feel, honestly, just depressing because you want to be something, but people keep reminding you of your mistakes or what you did in the past or how they think you were and how you'll always be. That can be super, super limiting. It can make you feel like there's no redemption and that you can't grow and you can't be the person that God made you to be. And that you have to stay stuck and that you have to just go on with the status quo. And you have to be this person that maybe you're no longer them. I like to think of a little hermit crab. They grow and they search for a new shell. And then once they size up a new shell, they move their little body from their old shell into their new shell. And then they'll grow and move along here and go to this place, go to that place, and then they'll get a little too big for their shell. Or they'll have to go look for a new shell and find a new shell and then switch their little body from their old shell into their new shell. So when you're on this personal growth journey, the person that you become is temporary. We got to be growing every single day. We have to be changing and developing. If we are not growing, we are rusting out. If we are not using it, we're losing it. So to grow and to continuously make yourself be a better person and develop into who you're supposed to be, then you'll have to break away from that old version. And then the next version, and then the next version after that. It's continuous momentum. And if your environment is holding you back, I can see how that would be super, super difficult. Even for myself, when I got into college, the first few groups that I joined ended up not being for me. They weren't aligned with my goals and my vision and who I wanted to be, and I decided to spend more time in my sorority than in some of my major classes, and then nearing the end I was more with a different group. And it's okay to change and when you get into an environment to then change your environment. So some people, if you're part of a certain group, they might try to hold you back. They might try to tell you that you can't be who you want to be because that isn't comfortable for them. And they might have an idea of you that you need to stick to because it makes them feel comfortable and it protects their feelings. But you are here to first protect yourself and to be true to yourself. This is part of your character. And when you allow other people to sway your character and tell you how you're going to be or how you're going to act and what you're going to say. Now, if your parents are taking you to a movie theater and say, be quiet, sit there. There are some rules that we have to follow. You can't be loud in a movie theater. It might be for your own safety, so I'm not talking about being unsafe or following the rules that matter. Some rules are meant to be broken, but if you're at the movie theater and you're being too noisy, that is not a rule to be broken. But I can see when people are putting you in a box or telling you how to feel or how to be, it is okay to tell them no. It is okay to define who you actually are, to set them straight, to say, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. I am working towards this goal. I am focusing on growing this habit. If they are holding you back, sometimes it's better to cut the tie. It is better to say, hey, you're not helping my personal growth. You are not for me, so you are against me. And when people are against us, we need to isolate ourselves away from them. Because if we allow someone's negative talk or their destructive ideas to get any little bit into our minds, it can be chaotic. It can be conflicting. It can really, really hurt and impact your trajectory, because it's like a little bit of poison. And if there was a little bit of poison in a smoothie, would you drink the smoothie? Even if there was just a tiny little bit of poison, just a little bit of poison. Heck no, you would not drink that smoothie. You would pour that smoothie down the drain, you would bleach the cup, and you would not trust that person again. Who gave you the smoothie? So if someone is toxic, if someone is holding you back, it is perfectly okay to set that boundary and to let them know that you need some space from them. People don't always understand what their actions are doing to you. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they know full well what they're doing to you and how it's impacting you. Sometimes they are blind to what they do. They are blind to how they're making you feel because that's all they've ever known. That is all they've ever known. This is the way it's always been, and that's how they're going to continue until something disrupts their environment or their journey. But it is good character not to make others feel bad for how they believe. Because just like you do not want them to tear down your beliefs or to belittle your thoughts, it's wrong to also do it to them in a condescending way. That does not mean not setting the boundary. That does not mean to allow them to walk all over you. That does not mean that they can continue having access to your life. But you can set the boundary in a way that is not demeaning and that you are able to slowly maybe grow apart, drift away, or just allow some sort of barrier between you and that person who is being negative, holding you back, or causing stress in your environment. Because you can't, maybe in your situation, you cannot move out of your environment yet. You don't have enough money, you're not old enough, other situations just holding you there, a commitment, a job, I get it. Sometimes you are not able to switch up your environment, and so you have to stay there for a little bit. Putting up barriers and creating some space between the people who are not good for you and who hold you back, that can be your saving grace to help you continue being in this environment. Then seek out someone who is going to encourage you and lift you up. You can find inspiration from other people. You can join a group. You can find a club, get on social media and find someone in your area. Start going to a workout class where you can meet new people. Sometimes it can feel like your small town is super, super small and you literally know everybody in the town. But maybe you can go 5 miles out of your town and meet someone new. Or you can go to an online networking event. You can go to, there are so many Zooms, book clubs, there is so much online. And so even if you are unable to find it in your own environment right now today, you can find other avenues to where you seek out individuals who are like-minded, because we are not meant to do this alone. We are meant to have community, and we are meant to have people who inspire and who lift us up and who encourage us and give us the fire in our body to keep going and to chase after what we want and to push the naysayers aside, because it's not their journey. There's a reason that they weren't given this dream. It's your dream. And so you're supposed to fight for it, and you're supposed to put in the hard work, and you're supposed to chase after it, because once you get there, then you can inspire others. Then you can be that beacon of light, and someone might follow you or have a conversation with you in a coffee shop, at the library, at a workout class, on the subway, on the street, at the school, at your job, wherever you are, whatever environment you are in, you are put there for a reason. so you can become an inspiration for others. It doesn't matter if you wish that you were somewhere else. It matters where you are right now. And it matters who you can inspire where you are at right now. I like to always imagine myself as a dandelion. It's not the prettiest flower in the world. It is one of the first flowers that comes up every single spring. You see it in grass and lawns. You can see them on the side of the roads. They pop up one at a time, very, very slowly, but soon there will be so many dandelions that it's uncountable. Dandelions, one, are the first. They're the pioneers, okay? Before all the other spring flowers start to bloom, they're the first ones to come up. Sometimes daffodils, tulips, they come up, but my tulips have not come up. But you want to know what I have seen? My tulips have came up. There's no blooms yet, is what I mean. My dandelions, though, I have counted 7 or 8 dandelions that have started to pop up in my lawn. You know what a dandelion is? It's the first of spring, and it continues on throughout summertime, and soon they multiply. So one, it's the pioneer. It comes before all the other things. Be a dandelion. Be one of the first things that pops up in your community, that gives inspiration to other people, that when they see it, they're like, I know spring is coming. Not only that, but their seed, right? Like a dandelion will go into a wishing flower, right? Like if you're ever a kid and you pick a dandelion and you blow all the seeds everywhere, one, wishes, granting wishes, but then each of those seeds, because they are so lightweight, they are carried in the wind, kind of like getting carried to a new environment, and then they are planted where they can grow more dandelions, so you can inspire others around you no matter where you are. Second, dandelions can grow in the crack of a sidewalk. They can literally grow in the most outrageous environments. They will push out, they will push through, and they grow everywhere. Some people think that dandelions are a nuisance. Those people are probably the small town thinkers in your town, right? Like the small brained people, small idea people who aren't encouraging, who don't want you to succeed, who find fault with themselves, and so then they're unable to imagine you doing anything with your life because they're so stuck and unhappy. But that's not true. Even those people can change and develop. And they might find inspiration from your journey and what you do. But dandelions, it doesn't matter if it is in a sidewalk or rocky, hilly area. Of course, a dandelion would prefer good soil with well drainage and a breeze and sunlight, but you can't always have the perfect environment. You're not going to have the perfect environment. No matter where you are at, you might always wish you were somewhere else. And I have been reading the Lily Gold books, and Lily Gold books are based in UK. The last one I read was Nannying for Neighbors. It is a little on the spicy side, I will say that. But it's a very, very romantic book. And Nannying for Neighbors, they went to the United States. They had the same idea that I do about the UK, about Europe, about Italy, about Greece, about all these places that I want to go and visit that seem so more exotic and seem so much more great than the United States. How Lily writes in her books, they think similar things about the United States. No matter where you are at, you will always wish that you were somewhere else. But if you can just be where your feet are, mentally and physically, if you can really embrace your environment for what it is and what it can give you, your environment is a vital piece to your story. There is a reason that you are starting where you are starting with the people around you. Because all those experiences, all that knowledge, everything that you are going through is working out for you in the end. There is a reason that you are in the journey that you are in right now. Because when you get to where you want to be, and then when you break through that shell and go to the next place you want to be and the next place you want to be, kind of like that crab shell, when you're moving place to place, you're going to learn things in each environment that you're in, and with the people in your community and in your groups. And those people and those experiences, those conversations, those situations, everything is going into the master plan. It's going into the big picture. There's a reason that you are starting right where you are at. Maybe it is to give inspiration to another, or to inspire someone who's from the same town that you are, that you can go out and you can reach your dreams. And maybe something that seems so ordinary to you seems so special to someone in a different state, a different country, a different place, a different town, a different school, anything. Your ordinary could be someone else's extraordinary, could be someone else's want, need, what they feel in their heart and they want to achieve themselves. You could be experiencing it. That's why it's so important to be grateful for right where you are. And right where you are can be a perfect place for your growth. It can teach you perseverance. It can teach you patience. It can teach you kindness. Just like that dandelion that grows through the cracks. Have you ever tried to get rid of a dandelion? If you don't use any sort of weed killer, when you pull it out, when you cut it down, soon another one will pop right up. Be a weed, okay? Some people think dandelions are weeds. You're going to be hard to get rid of. You are impossible to silence. You have a story, you have a dream, you have something placed in your heart that is meant to be shared with the world, that is meant to inspire others, that no matter what environment, small town, big town, maybe you're in a big town and you are just feeling so lost and you want everybody to know you. It's okay if it's the opposite for you. Just like I was saying, what you are taking for granted, someone is wishing for. And that's okay. We are allowed to have desires, and we are allowed to want things that just simply make us happy for no reason. And we might not know why we want it so bad, but it's all part of the big plan. It's all part of your journey and where you're going to be and who you're going to meet, and for generations to come, what kind of impact are you going to have? Are you going to be the person that people say, she was so kind, she was so inspiring, she was authentically herself? Sometimes being authentic, being real can kind of be watered down. And our realness that we try to show up as is actually a filtered version. And it's not authentic. And I want you to really think about what is truly authentic for you. And if you are showing up in a way that isn't as authentic as it could be, maybe you're saving some of those ugly parts of yourself and shying away from sharing those with others. Maybe you're trying to keep maybe the imperfect bits to yourself. It is so vital for people to understand and see your entire story. To see, when I was growing up, I moved around a lot. I felt like I didn't have a community of friends. I felt like I was switching it up all the time and nobody fully knew me, right? Like that's the opposite of someone who lived in the same small town their entire life. I felt like it was very hard for me to have a lifelong friend. That's why when I do now have lifelong friends, when I have those people who fill my cup and who make me so happy, I keep in touch with them. The relationship means so much more. The other night I FaceTimed Andrew and Rachel. Those are longtime friendships that I want to keep forever. They mean more. And I probably wouldn't have been as grateful for that friendship if I hadn't moved around so much. I would not be so grateful for Garrett's full family that lives so close to each other if I hadn't experienced distance with my own family. I lived in a different state. I lived in Iowa for a lot of middle school and high school, and my family lived in Missouri. And even in Missouri, my mom still lives in Iowa. So I'm even more grateful for Garrett's family being so close together, and I'm grateful that I live 2 miles down the road from my dad. I'm grateful for that relationship because I experienced it not having it. So when you get to your perfect environment, when you are inspiring others, and where you get to where you're going, whatever long-term, short-term goal that is, when you get to where you're going, you're gonna be so grateful for it. Even more grateful for it than if you had always lived there, or if it was just given to you so easily, or if it came naturally. You're always much more appreciative when you have to go through the struggle, when you have to fight for it, when you have to put your blood, sweat, tears into it, when you actually have to work for it. You're going to be ever so grateful for it. So much more. And then it's going to be bittersweet, because as you're going through your journal, as you're going through your journey, as you are experiencing all these things, it's hard to know that you're in the best part. You are in the best part right now. It's not when you make it to the top. It is the mundane. It is the everyday. You won't realize it until it's gone. But you're in the beauty of it. You are in the magic moments of it. It's where the pressure isn't on you, because it hasn't grown into the fullness that it is. So we're experiencing these little doses of our dream, or these little doses of, okay, like we're trying to work on this thing, and maybe our environment isn't exactly welcoming to it or supportive of it. But then we find a friend in our town who appreciates the same things or has the same mindset, or we find a friend who lives in a different state, but it's the same small town, and we can find connection, and we can find that community from wherever we are. And then we get it. We think, this is why I'm fighting for it. This is why I want to move forward. You have big ideas. You have big dreams. These are your dreams for a reason. These are the things that are going to leave your legacy. This is what you should fight for. Big dreams can be different for different people. It does not mean that you need to be a total rock star like Kelsey Ballerini, right? Like, you do not have to perform on a huge, big stage. You can be a big deal in your small town, and that can be perfectly okay and good and exactly what you want, where you want to be, because it's a big deal for you. And that's your big idea, and that's your big dream. Or you could want to move to New York. You could want to be a blogger. You could want to be a writer. You could be an astronaut. You could be any of these things. Any of your big dreams. You know them. You know deep down what you want to be doing. And that could be totally different than working at the grocery store, or being a bartender, or working that 9-to-5 job that just isn't you. Or you could be in school and you could have picked the wrong major. your parents wanted you to. And it can be really hard to tell and sit down with your parents and say, hey, Mom, Dad, I don't think I want to be pre-med anymore. I think I would rather be a dog walker. I don't know, whatever you want to be. You are allowed to make those decisions. And Mom and Dad might be sad that they're not going to have a doctor in the family. But once you show them, hey, like, I'm a great dog walker or barista or teacher or anything that you want to be, they're going to love and support you. And they're going to know, hey, we believe in you. They might doubt you in the beginning. I mean, it's okay for people to doubt you, but nobody cares until you win. Nobody cares that you're trying so hard to do something. They're going to be still stuck in their same old. It's up to you to chase your dream. It's up to you to win. It is up to you to have the discipline, to have the drive, to continue on when you are tired, when you are exhausted, when it seems like it would be easier to just stick to the status quo. Do what everyone else does and don't worry about it and relax a little bit. Don't chase those big dreams. You can just be content. Ugh, who the hell wants to be content? Not me. I want to keep going. I'll be content when I'm 50 or 70. I'll be content when I'm 80. I don't know. We have a lifetime of personal growth, and I don't think that you should have to be complacent. You don't have to be content with your surroundings. You can chase those big dreams. I know that you can achieve them. You can do it. Anything you put your mind to, you can do it. Let those doubters know, hey, you don't even have to tell them. Work in silence, okay? Work in silence. Grind. Put in the hours. Because like I said, nobody cares until you win. Nobody cares until you win. But once you win, think of the people that you can inspire. Think about all the people who come from an environment that isn't healthy, isn't supportive, isn't what they're needing. Be inspirational to those people. And it doesn't matter where your story starts or where you are from or what town you live in or how you wish you were in a different city or a different state or a different country. You can start right where you are right now. You can start on your goals. You can start to develop into the person that you want to be. You can choose that you're going to be different. You're going to choose to be yourself, the best version of yourself. You're not going to worry about what everybody else is doing. I think the best thing to do when you are chasing after a big dream and the environment around you is not conducive to what you want to do, where they are tearing you down or don't believe in you, it is best to put your blinders on. A racehorse, they got blinders on. Okay, literal blinders. They have a face covering that have, some people think that racehorses have these face coverings just for mud, because when you are on the racetrack, if it's the Kentucky Derby, if it is any of these intense races where these horses and these jockeys have to perform and they have to give it their all and they have to get it done, they have little blinders. They cannot see the other horses because they noticed in training that if they were in a race, the horse would be worried looking back, seeing if that other horse was chasing them. If they were far enough ahead, maybe if they were far enough ahead, they could cool it a little bit. That is a little difficult when you're trying to break records, to be the fastest, to win. If you're focused on other people's journeys, if you're focused on other people's opinions, if you are comparing yourself, put the blinders on. Block out all the noise. This is a difficult habit to have. It's difficult. You gotta exercise it every single day by putting the blinders on. Big, small, whatever, You have to train your mind to not worry about other people's opinions, not worry about what other people are doing. The only thing that matters is what you're doing right now today, what habit stacking you are doing, what you are focused on, what you are trying to accomplish, and be consistent. Because if you're not consistent, then you might fall off track. If you're not training every single day, whether that is writing a book, posting on social media, studying for your lawyer test, if you're not consistent, you're not going to be able to achieve it. If you're always worried about what other people are doing, what other people are saying, or how their chatter, their noise, what they're saying about you, why are we worried what other people are saying about us? If someone is talking bad about you or got a lot to say about you, they're already less successful than you are. Because successful people do not have time to talk about other people. They're not wasting their energy on gossiping, and they do not have the sort of character that talks bad about people or talks down to people. High achievers are only worried about themselves. They are only worried about their own dreams. They are only worried about making it happen, putting in the work, having the discipline, and winning. They're only worried about themselves. They're not worried about you. And when you are looking to other people for inspiration, you might think, oh my gosh, like they're gonna think I'm copying them. Oh my gosh, they're gonna think that I'm trying to be just like them. True leaders know that they are going to be inspiring to other people. Don't copy their stuff word for word. If you follow someone and you like their stuff and you want to do something similar, like their post, comment, share, DM them, reach out. If it's on LinkedIn, if you see someone who has the career, who is in the environment that you want to be in, find a connection, get a connection. See if they will help you along. See if they have any sort of ideas, if they have any tips. People who are successful, people who are true leaders, people who have made it to the top, they are always willing to bring someone else along. They are always willing to share a little bit of insight. They're always willing to help another. This is not the time to waste their time, because if they are a high achiever, if they are super successful, if they're in the environment that you want to be in, this is not the time to waste their time. This is not, oh, can we go to coffee so I can bend your ear? One of my favorite books, Dream Big by Bob Goff. He puts his phone number in the book. Anybody can call him, anybody can text him. He has made it his life's work to be available to people, to if they need them, they can call him. But he says point blank in the book, he gets calls all the time. People call him middle of the night, in the morning, weird hours of the day, and they will call him and they'll say, oh my gosh, Bob, you picked up. He's like, yeah, I did. How's it going? What can I help with? And they go, oh, I didn't think you'd pick up. Be ready. Be ready for when a person is willing to help you. Have questions. Think it over. Don't waste their time. But it's also a metaphor for your own life, right? Like when that big opportunity comes, when that environment comes, when you are patiently waiting, when you were in the place that you didn't really want to be, were you taking advantage of it? Were you learning everything you could possibly learn in this environment with these people? Were you networking? Were you making connections? Were you learning everything you could possibly learn? Or did you wait and waste the time? Did you not fully understand why you were where you were at? Whether that is in your job, your schooling, your career, your life, wherever you are at, figure out the reason why you are there. What can you learn? If you hate the job, what can you learn from the job? If you hate the teacher you were in the class from, what can you learn from them? If you are in a relationship that you do not like, what can you learn from them? How can we take what we need, leave the rest, and move on? What can we use in the next step? What can we use when we get to the next hermit crab shell? What can we use? Put your blinders on, continue on, okay? So don't waste this period of time. Don't waste the environment that you are in. Do not be like the people who have called Bob Goff and said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you answered." Of course he answered. He said he would. Same with the world. Same with the things that we ask in our inspirations. There's a reason the dream is in our heart. When that dream comes knocking, when that dream answers the phone and says, "Hey, how's it going? Are you ready?" What are you going to be able to say? What have you taken from where you are at? How can you apply it to the next phase of your life? How can you apply it when your dream comes? Are you going to be unsure? Because that's probably why you're still in the waiting period. If you're wanting big things to happen and you keep wishing for other people's lives and you're like, when will it happen to me? Are you showing up as if they were going to call tomorrow? And when tomorrow comes and you answer the phone, are you going to say, "I'm ready"? Or are you going to be in fear? Are you going to feel not ready? Oh my gosh, like I wanted to be a ballerina, but oh my gosh, I haven't even done any ballerining. It's not even a thing, ballerining, ballet. I haven't even done any ballet. I don't even have shoes. I don't even know form. How can you want to be a ballerina if you have never tried to be a ballerina, if you've never practiced, if you've never put in the hours? Being a ballerina is dedication. Those women and men, they dedicate their lives to learning the craft and to being the best that they can be. Their feet literally bleed. They damage their bodies by jumping and standing on their tippy toes and their eating habits. They sacrificed. So when, hey, you're going to be a prima ballerina comes, they're ready. Are you going to be ready? Are you going to be ready for your dreams? Have you put in the work? Maybe stop complaining about the environment that you are in if you are not showing up for yourself, and if you are not showing up for your dream, if you are not showing up and putting in the work. That might be really, really hard to hear. I've had to tell this to myself so many times. If I was given the opportunity tomorrow, would I be ready? It's a gut check. It tells you right now, are you ready? And you have to be honest with yourself. No, I'm not ready. This is why I'm still stuck in the same environment, why I'm stuck in the same place, because I'm not ready. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Practice your discipline habit. Find what you can find from this environment. Who can you reach out to? How can you network? How can you learn something? Take it into your own hands. Because your environment is a small, small part of how it impacts your big dream. I don't care how you have to do it. If you are serious about chasing after your dream and becoming the person you've always wanted to become, you're going to have some discipline. You're going to have to put in the effort, and you're going to have to try. Even if it's ugly, even if you feel like a dandelion in the dang sidewalk and people keep stepping on you, you got to persevere. You got to chase after it, baby, because there is a reason this has been put on your heart. There is a reason that you have this dream. There is a reason that you're in this place and in this environment and where you're at right now. So embrace it and take it for all it is worth. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and until next time, bye.